There is a massive mystery around the Freemasonic G, and in this video we're going to be discussing it. Some people call it geometry, God, Gnosis, Genesis, generation, but in fact it's all of these things, and all of these things relate back to one concept that links them all. And in this video, you will be discovering this secret force, which pretty much creates everything in your reality in your life, and has done unconsciously, whether you are aware of it or not. The Freemasonic G is the 7th letter in the English alphabet. This is important because the number 7 has many mysteries inside the esoteric and occult traditions. Some people say the number 7 represents the 7 colors of light, the 7 major planets, or the 7 musical tones, 7 days of creation. The number 7 is a massive mystery, but what we have to understand is that in the context of Masonry, Freemasonry is all about building the self. Every day we wake up, we are either building our prison of our mind or freedom of our mind. Everything inside of esoteric Freemasonry is about building the self and reconstructing our consciousness, our inner dialogue, the inner voice. We're transforming the mind from low awareness to high awareness. This is why Freemasonry uses the allegory of stonemasonry, stones, chipping away at stones. The stone is in fact you, and we are perfecting the stone, which is your very own mind. Because the universe is a mental construct. Life is happening to us inside our minds. We are all the universal mind expressed and clothed in a different body. Therefore, now we understand that everything is about the internal inside of Masonry. This G relates to something inside of you. Hence why you see the G inside of the square and the compass. It's something internal in you. G is the 7th letter of the English alphabet, and the number 7 symbolizes the 7 cognitions of the mind. In esoteric and initiatory traditions, the 7 psychological cognitions of the mind refer to the 7 distinct modes through which human consciousness perceives, interprets, and transforms reality. Different schools use different names, but across Hermetic, occult, Gnostic, and mystical systems, the same underlying pattern emerges. The mind has 7 functional powers, each representing a layer of awareness and a stage of inner development. Number 1 would be perception. The first cognition is the raw reception of sensory and subtle impressions. It is the gateway where the outer world enters the inner world of our minds. Perception involves learning to see without distortion, to notice the symbolic dimension behind ordinary appearances in an occult interpretation of perception. The second one is interpretation. After perception comes the act of making meaning. The mind organizes impressions into patterns, beliefs, and judgments. Esoterically, this cognition determines whether a person interprets life through the ego or through the higher insight of their higher consciousness. The goal is to purify interpretations so that the intuition can speak through it, to clear our minds of the clutter, master it, and let our higher consciousness shine through it. Number 3 is the imagination. This is the creative faculty that produces images, symbols, and visions in the mind's eye. This is associated with the astral plane. We live in a mental universe of thought. Thought wraps itself inside of imagination. The thought alone has no true form, but then the thought wraps itself in a vehicle of consciousness, what we call imagination, and we give form to the thought. Imagination becomes active. Imagination becomes active imagination, the foundation for rituals, alchemy, meditation, and visionary insights inside of occult traditions. Working on your imagination is a key part on developing your consciousness, as it is literally the sight into the astral plane, your internal vision of the mind. The 4th cognition of the mind is emotion. Emotion is energetic response that gives intensity, direction, and magnetism to thoughts. Emotion fuels the magical will. Unrefined emotion binds us to lower impulses. Refined emotions become devotion, compassion, and the inner fire to transform thought into a tangible reality, to become a conscious creator. The 5th cognition is will, the faculty of intention, decision, and directed energy. Will is the power that aligns personality with the higher self. It is the driver of discipline, transformation, and the capacity to act consciously rather than react unconsciously. Most people walk through life as an unconscious zombie, living day to day, running off subconscious programmings, never actually using their conscious mind. We develop our will and try to align our will with the highest will possible so we can align our will with our higher mind. So the higher mind can manifest through us in the material plane. The sixth cognition of the mind is memory, the storehouse of experience, impressions, and archetypes. It shapes identity, determines how one repeats and transcends past patterns. Memory includes not only personal memory, but also a deep strata of the subconscious and the collective subconscious field, what we call the Akashic records. Memory is a massive quality that you must work on inside the Masonic system. You are required to remember certain rituals and certain things so that you can regurgitate them to pass on along the degrees. Based off my research, I myself personally am not a Mason. The seventh cognition of the mind is intuition, the highest cognition possible. It's direct knowing. It bypasses the linear reasoning and reveals truth as the inner illumination. Intuition is the voice of the soul. It is the guiding force, guiding our physical vehicle of consciousness through this physical experience, providing revelations, insights, and even sometimes gnosis and higher understandings. They are the seven principles and cognitions of the mind that we should work on. Sometimes they're symbolized as seven luminary planets, because lumen is light. The planets are light. Light is consciousness. Consciousness is light. Now moving on to the true understanding of the G, the higher understanding of the G, as I mentioned previously. This is what we call the generative principle, the care principle, the human heart principle, the female aspect of consciousness within yourself. All creation is built upon a care. All action is built upon a care. You only act on what you care about. You care about paying the bills and staying inside your house and looking after your family, for example. Therefore, you take the action to generate the reality and generate money to pay the bills. Them actions are driven by the force of care. If you care about a plant, you take the action to water the plant and it grows. If you care about your partner or relationship, you give them attention and care and love, and you grow the relationship. As soon as you stop providing care, watch the relationship crumble and the reality destroys itself. Care is the generative force of reality. This is the generative principle that generates your experience in this world. We are in a continual state of becoming. Each cause gives birth to an effect, and that effect gives birth to a new cause. The G is the generative principle that drives creation in the present moment. Reality is creating, unfolding in the present moment, and the G is the force inside of you that generates your experience. You're watching this YouTube video right now because you have a care in your heart for the information I have provided in the past, and you have a care about watching this video. As soon as you don't care, you take action to do something else with your time that you actually care about. The G is the generative force of the heart. It is the love energy. You only take action on what you love or care about. The whole world is built upon this principle. This is why we say money makes the world go round, because the whole world has a G or a care for money, and it's making everyone wake up in the morning, take actions, and make the world go round. It is the G, the care for that principle or money object to generate that reality. It is the force that drives you, hence why the G is sometimes surrounding with light rays, because it represents a force, emanation, something that is invisible but driving the physical body. The G is the internal force that focuses thought into an action. We can think many thoughts, but the thoughts you don't care about, you don't take action on. But the thought you care about, that you have a G for, intensifies that thought, focuses and directs it into an action to generate that experience and reality. The whole world is built upon this principle. The sun is a perfect example of the generative principle. The sun gives all of its life, light, never asking for anything back, making everything grow and generate on the earth. Everything in your life is built upon this principle, and gaining control over your care gives you control over your actions and your reality and what you generate. Once you see this, it is truly beautiful that the world is actually built upon love. This is why they say love is the force of God. It is. Truly. This is the reason why God begins with a G. It's about Genesis. Genesis means creation. G, generation. Anything that generates and creates is all to do with a care or a love energy. But don't get me wrong, people can love sick and twisted things, and they act upon them sick and twisted things. This is why purification of ourself is important by understanding this principle, as it is a very powerful principle to understand. This is the reason why the word gift begins with a G. You're giving something. I care, I'm going to give you something, a gift. Or guidance. This is what guides you into becoming something, what you love. This is why also Gnosis begins with a G. Gnosis is not actually knowledge. Gnosis is knowledge obtained, attained by direct experience or through direct experience. For example, you're not believing you're watching this video right now. You know you're watching this. Know, gnosis, same phonetic sound. It's about knowing. Gnosis is about gaining knowledge of the self. Self-knowledge through direct experience. Instead of believing in God, I seek to know God through direct experience by altered states of consciousness, transcendent meditations, understanding human anatomy, understanding the laws that govern my mind, understanding creation. That is direct gnosis, knowing that God exists instead of believing he exists. By going within the self, questioning the self, and gaining a deeper relationship with the inner observer. You start to gain gnosis, self-knowledge through direct experience. And in order to gain gnosis, you have to care, because gnosis requires action. It requires you to meditate and go within yourself. It requires you to study yourself. It requires you to go within yourself. And in order to do that, you have to care. If you don't care about knowing yourself, you won't take the action to generate the gnosis. If we take a look at this piece of Freemasonic artwork, we can see a whole lot going on here. But if we focus down here with the temple with the letter G on, and when you walk through the temple, there is a pathway leading up a hill towards the light. The light reveals things. If something is in darkness, you can't see it, but the light reveals something. It's symbolizing truth, the light of gnosis, knowingness. And in order to walk this path, you have to go through the temple, which means entering in yourself. This is symbolic of the path. The Masonic path is about the self, reconstructing and learning about the self. In order to walk up that hill, it takes a lot of effort. It's not easy walking up a hill. You're going to be tired. It's not easy. It's horrible. Who likes walking up a hill? I know I don't, but people like hiking and stuff. I understand that, but it's symbolizing this is hard work working on yourself, because the labor of working on your mind is the hardest labor you will ever do. It's called the great work or the Masonic work. And in order to climb that mountain, you go through the G. You have to have the care. If you do not have the care, you will not walk up that mountain. You will not generate the gnosis. You will not get close to the light. You have to have the G to walk that path of self-mastery and working on your mind. This is very, very important. If you want to gain the light, you have to have the G inside of you. You have to have the care to generate a higher consciousness. If you want to earn more money, you have to have the care, or else you will not take the action necessary to generate that reality. This is why we have to master ourselves and write down everything you love. It could be even the bad things. It could be lust. It could be anything you're wasting your care energy on. Try and remove them one by one. Master them and become disciplined. And then you'll have more G energy, care energy to direct towards something else in your life to generate and grow that experience or reality. Again, the word grow, G. It is a growing force. What you place your love and care into grows and expands. What you have a G for is what you spend your time and attention on, your two spiritual currencies. So this is the Masonic G, and I hope you gain a deeper understanding of this. So that is pretty much everything about the Masonic G that you need to know, and hopefully this has helped you. If you wish to learn more and gain guidance through your life and understand yourself on a deeper level, the book I've used today is called The Book of Symbolism. I'll leave a link in the description.